This is the Louie T Network.
The Redskins Report.
Oh man, do you know what time it is? Do you smell that? That is the smell of Washington Redskins football on the horizon. I can smell it. And you know, I can taste it. I can almost touch it. I can almost feel it. I can almost see it. Whew. My Redskins brethren and sisterin, we have almost arrived at football time. And how sweet it is in 2013. Welcome. This is the Redskins Report. I'm your man and resident Redskins fan, Lou. Welcome to my humble abode called the Redskins Report. Man, does it feel good to be back and be back talking about Redskins football. Now, this is a big season for us. Let's just start out big picture wise. This is a huge season for the Redskins. Huge. For many different reasons. One, Robert Griffin III is back. And we'll talk about him a little bit later. I don't want to spend a lot of time on him at the top of the show. But it's huge because he's the franchise. He's the man. And as he goes, so do we. So great to see him back. Now we got to see what he looks like on the field. And we'll talk about him a little bit later. But that's number one. Number two, we're the NFC East reigning champions. Man, does that have a sense of je ne sais quoi. And I don't even know what that means, but I do know that it has one heck of a ring to it. But that means nothing now. Forget about that. We got to do it again. And I've talked about this several times. If you've been watching me, I've echoed this over and over. I sound like a broken record. Time for the Redskins to assert themselves as one of the big boys, as one of the major players in the NFC East. And the way to do that is to start winning on a consistent basis. So that's a big picture goal for the Redskins. Start winning on a consistent basis. And the first way to do that, protect home. You must protect this house. Well, it's time to do that. First game of the season, home opener, divisional game at that. Philadelphia Eagles, the great unknown. We don't know what this Eagles team is going to look like. We just know fast pace, in your face. So all I know is that we've got to be prepared to play some really good football, and we'll talk about that here in a second. But another big picture goal. We got to be ready to defend what's ours. And what is ours right now is the crown that's on top of our head that says NFC East champions. But guess what? You got to take that crown off. You got to put it back in its holster. Put it back in its little container, and it's out of sight, out of mind now. Because now you got to go out and defend it. And so, just like a boxer defending his belt, you got to give the belt to the timekeeper, and you got to go out and fight to earn the right to call yourself a champion again. And that's what we got to do in 2013. We got to go out and earn the right once again to be called champions. And this time, we want to take it a step further. But that's another big picture goal. Get to the playoffs. But to do that, we got to beat the teams like Atlanta, like San Francisco, like Green Bay, like Denver, like the Cowboys, Giants, Eagles. We got to beat the Bears. We got to beat the Minnesota Vikings. We got to beat some big boy football teams to get there. And it's not going to be easy. But if you want to be a good team, that's what you have to do. Let's make the playoffs this year. Let's win the division. Let's make the playoffs. Check those boxes off. And then we can start talking about hoisting one of those Lombardi things. Man, would that be sweet? But that's a long way away. One game at a time. You can't walk before you crawl. You can't run before you walk. One game at a time. And the first game up on the docket. Let's narrow that focus now. We went big picture already. Robert Griffin III is back. Hooray. Great. That's wonderful news. Okay? Now we got to play big boy football. Yes, that is another big picture view. We got to play some hard teams this year. Some big boy, strap up your boots and let's get it type of teams. We want a seat at that big boy table. We want to eat with the champions. I call it the breakfast of champions. You want a seat at that table? You know what you got to do. You know what you got to do. So let's narrow the focus now. Week 1. It's a divisional matchup. So this is double duty. Honestly, it's triple because A, you got to win. B, it's a divisional game. And C, it's at home. And if we want to win this division, it's going to take at minimum 10 games. I'm telling you right now, we want to win this division, 10 games is what it's going to take. And to get to 10 wins, you need to win at least 6 games at home. Because I don't see us going out on the road and winning 5 games on the road. So to get to 10 wins, the easiest way to do it in this league, win 6 games at home, split on the road. You go 6-2 at home, you go 4-4 on the road, you got yourself a 10-6 mark. Now, we're not aiming for 10-6. I'm not shooting that low, but that's as low as I want to go. Trust me, I'd love to get 11-5. 11-5, and you can pencil us in as NFC East champions. I'm telling you that right now. 11 wins this division hands down. You get 10, now you're starting to talk about tiebreakers because I think someone else in this division is going to win 10 games as well. I don't know who that other team is going to be, but we're going to be one of them. Someone else is going to win 10 games as well, and then you're going to have to start talking about tiebreakers. That's why it's imperative that we win this game. So this is actually what I call a 4-burger because you got to win the game. That's number 1. It doesn't matter. This could have been the Tennessee Titans. It doesn't matter. You got to win the game. That's number 1. But number 2, it's a divisional game. That's a huge thing. It's a divisional game. So that's number 2. Number 3, it's at home. You got to win home games. You must protect this house. And number 4, it's an NFC game. It's intra-divisional. That means when they come down to tiebreakers at the end of the season, they look at your mark against teams within your own conference. So this is a double dipper in the sense that, hey, this is not only a team in the division, this is a team in your conference. So we definitely need to take care of business against these Philadelphia Eagles in week 1. So now I want to look at focusing in on this game itself, the Philadelphia Eagles, and what we need to bring to the table to take these guys down. This is going to be a tough matchup. Anybody that thinks this is going to be a cakewalk, that we're going to absolutely smash the Eagles, I don't know what you're smoking, I don't know what you're drinking, but I would love to have some of it because this is going to be a tough matchup. It always is. It's a divisional game. We did have our way with the Eagles at home last year. But that was a different Philadelphia Eagles team. This team was hanging on by a thread with Andy Reid. That was Nick Foles. That wasn't Michael Vick. That wasn't Chip Kelly and his express offense. It wasn't any of that. This wasn't a brand new Eagles football team. This was a bruised and battered Eagles team that we took care of last year. This is a brand new Eagles team with the worst thing you can give a team, hope. Remember when we were that hopeless team? And last year, we started winning games. And what was the one thing that we got that we didn't have before? Yeah, you could say confidence. But as fans, it was hope. We didn't have hope before. Now the Eagles are a dangerous team because they have hope. They believe that they can win. They believe that they're a good football team. They feel rejuvenated. We were once there. We were just there a season ago. when we were revitalized, when we felt like we were that team. We got to smash these guys, and we got to keep them down. And yeah, they're going to score some points. Yes, they're going to score some points. This is a up-tempo offense with a lot of very talented players on the offensive side of football. Their offensive line, not the same offensive line we saw last year. This offensive line is much improved. They're getting Peters back at left tackle. I love Lane Johnson at right tackle. Todd Harrimans is back at guard where he belongs. This is a very, very dangerous football team. LaShawn Shady McCoy, I talk about him all the time. This guy scares the hell out of me, more so than any other player in the National Football League, because he can make you look stupid. He can take it the distance. He can take a 2-yard dump off, take it into the end zone, turn it into a 67-yard touchdown. I mean, this guy is so electrifying. He makes guys miss out of space. And that's the one thing that you cannot account for in this league. The guy that can make someone flat out miss and tackle air in space. And LaShawn Shady McCoy does it consistently. Look at that Carolina Panthers preseason tape if you don't believe me. This guy is in rare form. He scares me. And so we've got to corral to the football. That's number one. Stop the Eagles' running attack. Don't let LaShawn Shady McCoy dictate what we're able to do defensively in this game. Make the Eagles beat us through the air. And I know that sounds like a very damning statement because our pass defense wasn't that good last year and we don't know what the pass defense is going to look like this year. But I don't care. Make the Eagles commit to the passing game. Because if we can slow this team down offensively, make them one-dimensional, make Michael Vick beat us. Because, look, I don't care how good Michael Vick feels. I don't care how good Michael Vick played in the preseason. I don't think Michael Vick can beat me. I don't. And until he proves it to me, I don't think he's going to beat us. Now, he's done it to us before. Do I need to take us back to that Monday Night Massacre 3 seasons ago? No, I don't need to take us back there. But I will tell you this. If we don't get to Michael Vick, if we allow him to sit back there and be comfortable, that means we got to step up and get pressure. Orakpo, Kerrigan, Cofield, and company. If we're not getting to the quarterback, he's going to have time. And don't think for 1 second Michael Vick won't carve us up. So it's important that we stop the run, force Vick and that offense to be one-dimensional, slow him down, make some tackles. Don't allow this offense to get into the rhythm. I watched this Philadelphia Eagles offense very closely in the preseason because I knew they were our week 1 opponent. And so I was studying these guys and I was watching a lot of film on them. And the one thing that I noticed when they ran their offense is it can be slowed down. The way to do that, and some of it is by none of our own doing. It's things we can't control. Penalties is the first thing that will slow this offense down. If they're holding, if they're not lining up correctly, look, it's going to slow their offense down. Because penalties, you can't just run a play. Official has to make a call. It slows the game down. They can't get into their hurry-up mode. So that's number one. Force the issue is what I'm saying. Force them to make mistakes. Hey, beat that left tackle. Oh, he's got a hold now. Have them pull out that Hakey. It's going to slow them down. Get pressure on Vic. You hit the quarterback. Anytime guys are getting hit, it's going to slow this offense down. Anytime they run deep routes and they don't complete a pass, it's going to slow this offense down because if a guy runs 40 yards down the field and it's incomplete, or say Vic gets hit before he can get the ball off, guess what? That receiver has to come back from 40 yards down the field to get back to the huddle. Guess what? They can't run that up-tempo stuff. So you've got to be able to disrupt them offensively and not let them do what they want to do. If you make a tackle on a 7-yard gain, okay, they got 7 yards, make the tackle inbounds. Make them get up off the pile. Make them have to collect themselves and get back to the huddle. If you let them run out of bounds, guess what? He can jog right on back to the offense and they can get it going fast again. Their thing is they want to be faster than you. They don't want to allow you to substitute. They don't want you to be set offensively. They want to get the football, get it set, look over to the sideline, get the call out the play, and go. And they've even got it set up where if a guy is just standing in a particular spot, they can just call out a play with one word and just go. So you're not set. So we've got to be prepared. And I know the Redskins have been preparing for this all week. Listen to Mike Shanahan speak. Listen to the defense speak. Listen to Arakpo and guys like that. And so I know this defense is prepared for what the Eagles have in store for us. I listened to Jim Haslett as well. We're prepared. But it's one thing to talk about it. It's one thing to practice. It's another thing to actually go out and execute. And so it's going to be a struggle for us this first game. But I expect us to be able to rise to the occasion because we're a better football team than the Philadelphia Eagles. But it's going to be a struggle offensively. Where we're going to win this game, however, and we'll come back to what the defense needs to do again. But where we're going to win this game is offensively. If we're going to win this game versus the Philadelphia Eagles, offensively is where we're going to win this football game. Offense and special teams. I don't need to forget that, and neither do you. Offense and special teams, we'll talk about special teams here in a second, but offensively is where we're going to win the game. The Eagles are not a good defensive football team, and they won't be for the majority of 2013. If this team wins some football games, they gain some confidence, maybe at the end of the season, they'll be playing really good football defensively. But right now, offensively, this team is head and shoulders above this defense. This defense is making a switch, and you know how I feel about this. From a 4-3 defense to a 3-4 defense. Anytime you switch a scheme and switch over from a base 4-3 to a base 3-4 defense, there is 1 year of mandatory struggle because your guys have to make that adjustment. They have to figure out their keys. They're not just going out and playing. They're thinking, okay, where am I supposed to be? What is my key here? What am I supposed to be doing? Those type of things slow you down on the football field. When you're thinking and not reacting, you're slowed down. So they're going to be reactive instead of proactive. And so they're not going to make plays like a team that has been in a defense for 4 or 5 years is going to make. They're going to be a step slower. And so we have to take advantage of that. And so we have the distinct advantage on the offensive side of football in terms of versus their defense. Our offense is ready. They're primed and ready to go. If we look anything like we did a season ago, we're going to be hard to stop. And we've got weapons. We've got guys that can make plays. And so I expect our offense to put up 24 points, 27. And that's what I feel. I feel like 27 will win you this game. 24, I think, can win us this game if we can limit the Eagles to 20. But I don't know how realistic that is. But 27 will win us this game. Now, the big key for us, can't self-destruct, cannot shoot ourselves in the foot. Robert Griffin III did a wonderful job last season of taking care of the football. Only 5 interceptions. We did not fumble a lot. We did not turn the football over. Alfred Morris was not a fumbler. He was a guy that protected the football. So we have to make sure we protect the football. Our receivers didn't put it on the floor last year either. So we have to make sure that we continue to take care of the football offensively. No penalties. We were a very penalized team, one of the worst penalized teams in the league last year offensively. But we were so explosive offensively, we were able to overcome that. That can't happen in this game. We have to make sure we limit the mistakes. If someone's going to be rusty, let it be the Eagles, not us. We have to make sure we maintain a level of focus that is of a winner. We can't come out and be lackadaisical early on in this football game, or it could cost us big time. So offensively, if we do all the things that we did a season ago, run the football, keep teams off balance with read option, and Robert is very accurate like he was a season ago, and we don't shoot ourselves in the foot, and we don't turn the football over, this Eagles defense doesn't stand a chance. So, and I'm expecting that. I'm expecting this offense to really take it to this Eagles football team. Let's talk about Robert Griffin III a little bit before I move on. And I brighten up the light a little bit. I don't know if you can tell, but I hope that makes things a little bit better. Look, I know that he's faced a lot of scrutiny over this offseason. He said some things that maybe he shouldn't have said, and he's went about things ways that maybe he could have avoided. Look, who cares? That's irrelevant now. It's time to play football. And he's back. He worked hard to get back to this point. Good to see him ready to rock and roll. And over the last 8 months, he's had to answer a lot of questions about how he's going to protect himself better. And so that's the thing I'm looking for right off the bat is where his timing is, because you can practice all you want, but the game speed, you can't simulate that. When live bullets are being thrown your way, you got to be able to respond. And so I want to see how he's going to look when it's for real. There is no red jersey. Guys can touch you. They're going to hit you. He's going to be a target. How will he play? How will he respond? I'm also looking for how will he protect himself. He's had to answer questions all offseason about how he's going to get out of bounds, how he's going to get down, how he's going to better protect himself. And he knows he has to do that. But it's one thing to know it and to say it. It's another thing to actually do it. I need to see tangible evidence that he understands that he has to protect himself. If it's 3rd and 6 and the marker is right there, you got a defender bearing down on you from an angle that he can catch you before you get to the first down, what are you going to do? Because I know Robert Griffin III is a playmaker. His instincts will take over and they will tell him, hey, we can get to that marker, you can dive, you can get this first down. But then he'll be exposing himself. Who knows what he'll do? And that's the thing that I want to see. How are you taking steps to ensure that we're not having this same discussion 2 years from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now? We need a healthy Robert Griffin III to do anything in the future, in the now. We need Robert Griffin III. Kirk Cousins is a heck of a backup quarterback. Could start for many teams. But he's not Robert Griffin III. He does not possess what Robert Griffin III possesses. He does not bring to the table what Robert Griffin III brings to the table. And so he needs to be healthy for us to take it to that next level. And so good to see him back. I'm anxious to see what he's going to do, how he's going to better protect himself. And I'm anxious to see if he's ready to go out and sling that football around, get it to our playmakers and allow them to make plays. And also, can he take care of the football? The one thing you get with Russ a lot of times is turnovers, missed timing with guys. You got a guy running a drag route, and normally you put that ball out in front of him, no problem. Okay, you're a little rusty, it's behind him, it tips off his hand, it's picked off. Or you got a guy running a 15-yard dig route, that's a square in. Okay, normally Robert hits that, no problem, eyes closed, dart, straight to the receiver. Maybe because he's a little off, that pass is slightly in front of him, slightly behind him, off the fingertips. Anytime something is tipped up, chances are it's going to get picked off. And so I want to see how this timing is. Again, you can try to simulate timing all you want, but it is tough to do in the National Football League. Only actually playing in the game can give you the timing that you want and need in this league. So be anxious to see what Robert Griffin III can do, how this read option will be ran, because he's wearing that knee brace all year long. Don't know if it restricts his movements at all. I know he can run in a straight line. I want to see how he does when he's got to stop and cut and plant and all that good stuff. So a lot of things we'll be focusing in on with Robert Griffin III, but just great to see number 10 back on the field. Let's hope he's the same number 10 we got last season that took us to the postseason and won the NFC East crown. So offensively, we have a very distinct advantage. We're better than the Eagles are on the defensive side of football. We need to use that strength to our advantage to win this football game. Let's talk about special teams quickly. Kai Forbath. You know my saying with Kai, Kai's my guy. And so I need Kai to continue to kick that football, kick the cover off the football. I was impressed with him in the preseason on his kickoffs. He's very inconsistent, but every now and again you'll get a gem, that adrenaline gets flowing. He'll kick it out of the end zone, or he'll kick it deep in the end zone. And he's been practicing kicking the ball to the corners and not allowing returners to get the... Look, I don't really like kicking the ball to the corners, because if you kick it too short or you don't kick it well enough, all of a sudden it goes out of bounds at the 5, they get the ball at the 40. I'm not for all of that. Just kick it as far as you can. If it doesn't go that deep in the end zone or it goes to the goal line, fine. We got to play special teams. Everybody does their job. We'll be fine. But just kick it as far as you can. I've been impressed with him getting more distance on his kicks. So that's something he obviously worked on in the offseason. And so good to see him doing that. Continue to kick those field goals, buddy. Kai is my guy. And continue to kick those field goals. You were really good in the preseason. Don't even know if you missed. I'm not sure. I don't think you missed a field goal in the preseason. And you were knocking them home from 53 and all that good stuff. Keep it up, man. We need you. You were a huge part of what we did last season, and I want to continue that trend. Special teams, this is huge because, okay, no more Lorenzo. No more one-man game. Yeah, that one hurts. But, look, we got to continue to play special teams the way we did last season. I don't think we gave up one touchdown on punt nor kickoff last year. And, yes, one-man game was a huge reason why. But we still got one more fiend left. And so the reason why we didn't give up anything last year was because we had two fiends. We only got one now. And that one fiend is Niles Paul. So I need Niles Paul to continue to be a fiend. Someone else has to step up and be that new fiend. We got to have that second fiend to make sure that we're not giving up anything. And so we got Niles. Someone else has to step up. Reed is always reliable, but he's not a fiend. I need another fiend on this special teams unit to ensure that we're not giving up any big kickoff returns nor big punt returns. So special teams is going to be vital. Win special teams, win offense. You win 2 out of the 3 phases of the game. Most likely, you're going to win the football game. And I feel like we can win special teams, and I feel like we can win offense. I'm not sure if we're going to win defense or not. Let's go back to the defense one last time and wrap this thing on up. And defensively, this is the key. Keep the Eagles in the pocket. Michael Vick wants to get out. He wants to create. Stay disciplined. Those are the 2 things you have to do in this football game. Stay disciplined. Keep the Eagles in the pocket. And Vic wants to get out. He wants to create. They want to run read option. Do your job. If you've got the quarterback, take the quarterback. If you've got the running back, take the running back. Don't fight over the same guy. That's how we give up big games in the read option. We know that. We run it ourselves. We know the answer, the antidote to stopping this read option attack because the Eagles are going to run it. Be smart in your principles. Do your job. I'm talking to you, Brian Arakpo. Do not leave home. If you have contain, play contain. So defensively, we must do our job. We have to tackle better. And Bakari Rambo, you're seeing one of the most shifty running backs in the league. Got to do whatever you got to do to get him on the ground. It'd be nice to force a couple of turnovers. Last year, we were very adept at forcing turnovers. It was the reason why we were able to stay afloat with this defense being as bad as it was for the first 2/3 of this season. We were able to get turnovers. We forced them and we turned them into points. Got to try to force some turnovers in this game. Win the turnover battle. That's always a key. Win the turnover battle. If we can not turn it over and force 1 or 2, great. You've done yourself a service that will help us in the long run. So taking care of the football offensively, forcing some turnovers on defense would definitely help our cause. But the main thing on defense, everyone do your job. Be where you're supposed to be when you're supposed to be there. Get pressure on the quarterback. Vic wants to get outside the pocket. Try to contain him. Try to keep him in the pocket. If you're going to force him out of the pocket, make sure it's to the right. If you let him get outside the pocket and you lose contain on the left side, he's on the side where he wants to throw the football. He's his most dangerous at that point. You make him go right, now it's hard for him to throw across his body. You've got him where you want him, and most likely he's going to have to tuck it and run at that point. So we need to make sure we're disciplined. Know who you're playing against. Know what you're supposed to do on any given play. Do your job and your job alone, and stay disciplined on the defensive side of the football. Get pressure on the quarterback. We need to get pressure on Vic. We need to make it uncomfortable for him in the pocket. Don't let him out of it. And because he's there, we know where to find him. Go get him. Turn the dogs loose. I know Jim Haslett has a couple of blitz packages that he has put together for this game. And we're going to see a lot of different blitz packages this season with Brandon Jenkins, with Kerrigan, with Arakpo. No Jackson right now, but he'll be back later on down the line. We're going to see guys mixing and matching. We've got a couple of suspensions that we're going to have to deal with now. Guys are going to have to step up. Kedrick Golston is going to have to step up. Chris Baker is going to have to step up. Guys are going to have to step up and play good football because we've got guys out. And so everyone's going to have to do their job and do it as a collective group. So looking forward to this defense rising to the occasion because, yes, they're going to be tired. Yes, they're going to run no huddle. Yes, there's going to be times where you're going to give up plays in this game, but you want to limit the amount of big plays you give up, and you want to try to keep this Eagles team out of the end zone. If you can hold them to a field goal, that's all the better, because this offense that we're putting on the field, we're going to get sevens. And if we can hold them down and force them to kick field goals instead of getting touchdowns, that's how we're going to win this game. Force turnovers. Get to the quarterback. Stop the run. Gang tackle. These are all things that we need to do defensively to give ourselves a chance. If we can do these things, get to the quarterback, force pressure on Michael Vick, keep him in the pocket, and gang tackle, we've got a shot. We have got a shot in this football game. And I expect us to win. And I expect the score to be somewhere around 27-23, 24-20, or 30-24. Either way, it's going to be tough. It's going to be a grounded out football game. We're going to have to find a way to win. But I expect us to protect our house. I expect us to do enough to win. I expect us to play Washington Redskins football. And that's a winning brand of football in 2013. So, I'm a Redskins fan, etched in burgundy and gold. My Redskins spirit will never die. My Redskins spirit will never fold. Until we meet again, hail to the Redskins. I will see you with the wrap-up for this particular game on Tuesday as it all unfolds on Monday. So I will see you back here on Tuesday, and we're going to break this thing down. Hopefully, it's a victory Tuesday here on the Redskins Report. See you next time. Go get 'em, boys.
The Redskins Report.